Evening. We'll try that again. Good evening. Thank you. And welcome to the 61st Annual GI Research Foundation Champions for a Cure Ball. Tonight, we come together to celebrate more than 6 decades of partnering with the world-renowned University of Chicago Medicine Digestive Diseases Center. My name is Casey Cronus. I'm a news reporter for Fox 32 Chicago, but I'm also a proud UChicago Medicine Crohn's patient who has experienced the life-changing support of the exceptional doctors in our audience tonight. It is my honor to be here with all of you together in person again. When we departed from the 2019 Gurf Ball, none of us could have ever imagined we'd spend the next 2 galas virtually. But it just makes being here with all of you tonight even more special. We are delighted to have you and grateful to those of you watching our live stream from home. This evening would not be possible without the generosity of our many angel sponsors. Your support ensures every dollar raised goes toward life-changing research. Thank you also to the Ball Committee for planning such a beautiful night. The GI Research Foundation, or GIRF as it is more commonly known, has raised millions of dollars to support the physicians and scientists who dedicate themselves to improving the lives of those living with digestive diseases. Through research breakthroughs, treatment advancements, and innovative approaches to patient care. Your help directly aids the University of Chicago Medicine Digestive Diseases Center in its efforts to provide outstanding care, to train future leaders, and to perform cutting-edge clinical and lab research to treat, cure, and prevent digestive diseases. Tonight's ball is a bit different as we make our way out of 2 years of Zoom meetings, virtual appointments, and for many of us, more time in sweatpants than ever before. We thought we'd ease back into things, and we do hope you are enjoying this new format. Thank you. Our program will begin with an update from GI Research Foundation Scientific Advisor, Dr. David T. Rubin, who will be joined by Dr. Cambrian Liu and Dr. Sonia Kupfer. Later tonight, we are honoring 2 champions, Dr. Rubin with the prestigious Joseph B. Kersner Award and Dr. Ira Hannon for his tremendous career in gastroenterology. You will also hear from a grateful UChicago Medicine patient, Trevor Long, who has benefited from the outstanding research you have helped fund. After listening to Trevor and his wonderful family, I am certain you will all be motivated to participate in tonight's paddle race. When the time comes, lift them up and don't be shy.
I want to welcome everyone tonight, getting back into in person and those who have dialed in from home. This is the 61st annual GI Research Foundation Ball, supporting digestive diseases at the University of Chicago. I want to welcome our longtime friends, many of whom are in the room, and those who couldn't be here but are logged in from home. I also want to welcome people who are here for the first time tonight, including my nephew, Jared. The GI Research Foundation is truly a very special organization. You see their logo there, and you see I've modified it a little bit. I want to thank the Ball Planning Committee. I think that this venue is spectacular and the food has been terrific, but most importantly is that the reason we're together and the reason they planned this is to help people who have digestive diseases. I want to also acknowledge our board, of course, and the associates board members who are all volunteering tonight. I start with a question that I ask every day I see a patient in clinic. And I'm sure patients ask this of themselves. Anyone who's diagnosed with a medical problem or a chronic condition says, why? Why did this happen? Why now? Why me? We ask many of the same questions too in our business. We ask, why are we treating a disease the way we do? Why are we not able to diagnose diseases sooner? And why not try something different? And that attitude, that approach, is how we advance science. I ask every patient I see for their theory of how they got inflammatory bowel disease. And they often ask me back, aren't you supposed to tell me that? But everyone has a theory, something that happened, or they have a thought about what might have gone on. And I truly believe that if we listen to our patients, and we follow that listening with hypotheses, and those hypotheses with clinical research, and the clinical research is followed by laboratory research, discovery of associations leads to discovery of new treatments, and discovery of causes leads to discovery of cures. Discovery is a magical word. In fact, the hospital on our main campus is named the Center for Care and Discovery. But how do you create a culture of inquiry and expectation for new discoveries and results that transform the effect of disease on a person and on their family to disease control and an unrestricted quality of life. The ingredients that have made the digestive diseases programs at the University of Chicago as great as they are three. They include the university itself, our brilliant and dedicated faculty and staff, and the amazing GI Research Foundation. It's these special ingredients that are the theme of my remarks tonight. Let me start with the University of Chicago. The University of Chicago was created as an institution of higher learning with, as University President Robert Maynard Hutchins said in 1931, devotion to truth, the courage to be independent, an enthusiastic interest in the community and in new ideas, in intellect rigorously trained and being trained. Today is graduation day on campus for those who were there. And during that special time each year, during the pomp and circumstance, the students and their families celebrate the completion of a journey that is ending and a new one that is beginning. At times like these, the rich history and legacy of a place like the University of Chicago is celebrated, and we are reminded that we are part of a lineage of scholarship and critical inquiry in the service of a better society, and that this culture must be preserved by its faculty and demanded of those who come after them. Our medical center grew out of the university and was developed with the same principles. The medical center has been part of the campus for over 100 years, and the core function of the University of Chicago hospitals required commitment to the community and patient care, but always emphasized research to understand the mysteries of the human body. Among its first 8 faculty hires was Dr. Walter Palmer, a physician scientist and son of a family practice doctor who had an interest in GI diseases. This is before gastroenterology existed as a specialty. Dr. Palmer focused on research and discovery of the major GI problem of the day, peptic ulcer disease, a disease that's now been cured. In 1935, Palmer was joined by and then mentored a young physician, Dr. Joseph Kersner. Shortly after starting his job with Palmer, Kersner met a young woman with ulcerative colitis. A little-known condition at the time, she succumbed from her disease, and this had a profound impact on Kersner. He subsequently devoted his career to understanding the causes and treatments for inflammatory bowel diseases. By now, the legacy of Kersner is known to many or most of you. It's the reason the GI Research Foundation came to exist. But the longer I work as a physician scientist, the more I understand the impact this young woman had on him. As I think many in this room certainly appreciate, those of us who have dedicated our lives to medicine are deeply moved by the privilege of intimately knowing our patients and their pain, sharing the sadness of that which we cannot control, but also of celebrating the joys of success and finding inspiration to do it better for the next patient. The second ingredient to our ongoing success is our U Chicago folks. Our amazing Digestive Diseases Center is now made up of over 300 physicians, scientists, trainees, nurses, and staff. In the last year, we've been in more locations, seen more patients, performed more surgeries, and published more scientific papers than ever before. Under the co-directorship of Mike Charlton and John Fung, our transplant center has performed more transplants in multiple organs than in the history of the institution. In the next 2 years, we expect to be in 2 more locations, one of which may be in a suburb near many of you. When I meet with my faculty, I challenge them to tell me what would make your program the best in the world. Because if you don't ask the question, you're never going to get there. And then I tell them that they should work to solve the toughest problems, and I'll work on getting the resources, like tonight. Examples of innovation that have grown from these conversations include our nationally recognized multidisciplinary liver tumor, led by Dr. Anjana Pillai, our multidisciplinary obesity initiative, led by Dr. Mustafa Hussain, our cutting-edge interventional endoscopy program, led by international leader Dr. Uzma Siddiqui, and most recently, our intestinal ultrasound program that enables us to assess inflammation in the bowels in real time at the bedside. Our research teams have been incredibly productive as well, with over 300 active human subject trials and hundreds of ongoing preclinical laboratory experiments. In the past year, Dr. Chang and his colleagues have shown how the microbiome of infants may predict future immune diseases. This work is being explored in a massive grant in collaboration with the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and politics and pandemics allowing, he and I will be traveling there later this year to continue that work. Renowned immunologist Dr. Bana Jabri now leads the UChicago Human Immunology Institute, and this year, with Dr. Valerie Abadi, published groundbreaking work developing a mouse model of celiac disease. And Dr. Carol Semrad is leading our efforts to develop treatments that will allow people with celiac to tolerate gluten again. We are most fortunate to work with technically outstanding surgeons who are funded investigators as well. Under the leadership of Dr. Neil Hyman, GIRF has supported 2 of our colorectal surgeons. Sorry about that. Dr. Kinga Skowron-Olurdige received her master's degree in public health sciences, and Dr. Benjamin Shogun has received a competitive NIH Career Development Award to study the role of bacteria in colorectal cancer. But at the end of the day, it still comes back to the individual physician, the individual scientist, and their focus on the next individual patient. To this end, I've asked 2 of my outstanding colleagues to speak to you tonight. The first is Dr. Sonia Kupfer, who is an associate professor of medicine and director of our unique GI cancer risk and prevention program. Like me, Dr. Kupfer has been at the University of Chicago since medical school and has served as the medical advisor to the GIRF Associates Board and has been recently funded by GIRF. Dr. Kupfer?
Thank you, Dr. Rubin, and what an honor to be here to speak to you. And I joined Katie because I want to reduce the burden of GI cancers as well, because it's personal to me. I had a family member, a very close family member, who was diagnosed with colon cancer when I was in college, and she fought a valiant 5-year battle with the disease. And her diagnosis and death motivated me to do everything in my power to save others from this disease. The GI Cancer Risk and Prevention Clinic is a multidisciplinary team working to reduce the burden of GI cancers, especially in those who are at highest risk due to inherited syndromes or familial clustering. We diagnose and care for individuals at risk for colorectal cancer, polyposis syndromes, pancreatic cancer, stomach cancer, and many others. All right. In order to achieve our goal of reducing the burden of GI cancers, we practice and strive for personalized prevention and early detection. Personalized medicine moves away from one-size-fits-all approaches and integrates knowledge about a person's genetics, personal and family history, and environmental risk factors to provide tailored care to the individual. In our clinic, we routinely do genetic testing for up to 100 genes, calculate risk based on genetics and other factors, and develop personalized surveillance plans. Soon, artificial intelligence, big data, and new blood-based markers will be integrated into our practice for early cancer detection. At the University of Chicago, we are particularly committed to ensuring that our care is equitable and addresses disparities in GI cancers, of which unfortunately there are still many, and especially because of all these technological advances in the field. Since tonight is about research, I wanted to tell you about the research we are doing in our GI Cancer Risk and Prevention Clinic. We have both lab-based translational projects as well as clinical studies and trials. We have a large registry and collaborate with colleagues globally on studies of inherited GI cancers. In addition, we're part of an international consortium studying early detection of pancreatic cancer called PRECEDE. I'm happy to talk to anyone who is interested in learning about our clinical studies. But Dr. Rubin asked me to talk about a translational project that GIRF very nicely funded. And this is focused on the complex crosstalk between the diet, the gut microbiome, and its metabolites in colon cancer. The motivation for this project came from a desire to better understand and address high rates of colorectal cancer in African Americans. Health disparities are driven by structural and social determinants of health that impact access to care, access to healthy foods, chronic diseases, stress, among many other factors. Diets high in fat and low in fiber are strong risk factors for colorectal cancer. High-fat diets increase bile acids that are needed for normal fat digestion and absorption. These bile acids that aren't absorbed enter the colon and are converted by gut bacteria to substances called secondary bile acids, some of which are toxic and can be cancer-causing in the colon. There are no prior studies of how bile acid composition, the gut microbiome and its metabolites, or colonic responses to these secondary bile acids differ between individuals and populations. So in our pilot study, we are enrolling self-identified African Americans and non-Hispanic whites from whom we'll collect dietary information using validated online tools. We're going to test their stool using sequencing, metagenomic sequencing of the gut microbiome, as well as bile acid profiling using mass spectrometry. In addition, we'll measure genomic and cellular responses to these secondary bile acids using organoids, or mini guts, from diverse individuals. And here you can see a video of a little mini gut, a mini colon gut forming in a Petri dish. And we can use this to understand how responses differ between individuals and populations. If one or more of these hypotheses are confirmed, we'll be able to start to dissect how individually or together they contribute to colon cancer risk and potentially disparities, and importantly, what can be done to intercept cancer risk toward our goal of precision prevention. The University of Chicago is the ideal place for my research and clinical work, and that's why I've been here forever. We have world-renowned faculty who are the smartest in their fields and incredibly collaborative. We are located on one campus, which promotes interaction, collaboration, and community. We have access to cutting-edge equipment, facilities, and resources, and importantly, we serve a richly diverse population, and we really owe it to them to work tirelessly toward health equity. Finally, the GI section, including me, are incredibly fortunate to have the philanthropic support from GIRF and all of you who have made solving some of medicine's hardest problems our collective mission. Thanks for making this personal.
Thank you, Sonia. So I'll start by saying I'm older than you, so that means I've been at the University of Chicago for longer than forever. And secondly, I think there are a few people in the room who would really appreciate those mini colons, so get to work. Now, I've also invited a second person to speak to you. It's my pleasure to introduce one of our newer faculty members, Dr. Cambrian Liu. After attending Harvard for college and then Caltech, where he earned his PhD in biochemistry and molecular biophysics, we recruited Dr. Liu to the University of Chicago via the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. He's also one of the recent recipients of a GI Research Foundation grant and a critical member of our regenerative medicine program that I'll tell you about in a bit. I've asked Dr. Liu to share a couple words about the work he's doing. Cambrian?
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all especially for the incredibly generous support you've given for gastrointestinal research at the University of Chicago for over 60 years. As David mentioned, I'm a fairly new person on the team. I started my position as a research assistant professor just last year, and I'm so excited to be here. The focus of my research is inflammatory bowel disease, which includes Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. The question that keeps me up at night, and I think the question that David talked about and keeps many of our physicians up at night, is why do some patients who have these diseases, why do some respond to medication but others don't? In recent years, we have learned that the inside of our intestines, which is destroyed by flares of this disease, is a delicate and complex ecosystem, full of its own constituents, relationships, and hierarchies, just like any macroscopic ecosystem would have. And it's been with the support of the GI Research Foundation that we've developed an incredible research environment and brought in great people that have developed new state-of-the-art tools to interrogate all the aspects of this ecosystem. And I firmly believe that these studies will lead to new generations of therapies for inflammatory bowel disease. Now, as a newcomer, I also bring my own sort of slant to this field. I believe that some patients respond to medication because their bodies are able to tap into a natural wound healing regenerative response in their intestines. In other words, they can restore this healthy ecosystem in their guts. And this is something, if you consider, for example, that a flare of diseases like a forest fire, and the anti-inflammatory drugs we have in our arsenal now are firefighters. What no drug does currently is actually focus on the restoration and repair of the intestine after a flare. And that really is the focus of my research, which is regenerative medicine. In my lab, we take stem cells, which are cells of incredible regenerative potential, and we try to coax them into repairing the inner lining of our intestines. It's like planting new trees after you've put out a forest fire so that you can restore a healthy habitat. And in a project that, as David talked about, was recently funded by the foundation, we'll be doing this in two primary ways. The first way is we study patients that do respond, whose guts are able to heal. And we can actually pull out stem cells from them and grow them, as Sonia talked about, into mini guts. And we can ask what's different about a mini gut in a patient that responds to therapy and can heal versus those of a patient that doesn't. This is a very personalized approach, and we hope to take lessons from it towards the design of new therapies. The second way is we can take these same mini guts and we can do some engineering on them. We can give them properties that we would like to make them more resistant, for example, to the injury that comes with these diseases. And then we can take these stem cells and put them back in a condition of colitis or inflammation and watch them repair the intestine. And that's what you're seeing on the right. The lit up cells on the right are cells that are expanding and covering the surface of the intestine. I believe that regenerative medicine is the future of therapy for inflammatory bowel diseases. It will be a powerful complement to our arsenal of anti-inflammatory medications. These studies are incredibly important to me and I think to the field, but they are still in their early phases, and they can only be funded now by foundations such as the GI Research Foundation. So I mean this when I say that I am so grateful for all of your generosity in helping us at the university help our patients live better lives with this debilitating and chronic disease. Thank you so much.
I think it's obvious why we were so glad that Dr. Liu joined our team in Chicago. The pressures of clinical medicine from a patient's side are well known to you all. The advent of technological innovations and new treatments and surgical procedures have been accompanied by exorbitant costs of care, third-party payers coming between doctors and patients, and on the administrative side, increasing demands on the clinical teams to see more patients, do more procedures, and generate more revenue. In addition, research funding has become more competitive to obtain, and the infrastructure to perform research has become more complex and expensive. So the third ingredient to our success is the GI Research Foundation. Our friends in GIRF have stepped up time and again to address the needs of the physicians and scientists, and in the last 8 years, we've been privileged to work with them to expand their support to meet these times. GIRF now provides GIRF Scholar Awards to our faculty to protect their time to pursue otherwise unfunded academic priorities like early phase research, curriculum development, teaching our fellows, and quality of care efforts. GIRF supports our biobank, which we have renamed the GI Research Foundation Digestive Diseases Biobank. This includes the salary for our clinic and procedure unit technicians, our clinical research coordinators, and support for the director and associate director, Dr. Joel Pico and Dr. Valerie Abadi. Our Digestive Diseases Biobank, we think, is the largest in the country now, with 11,000 patients in it. And having this incredible research supported by GIRF makes answering many research questions simply a matter of going to the freezer. In the past year, the scientific advisors to the GIRF board, Michael Charlton, Jean Chang, and I, launched a new GIRF research grant process that included peer review by our scientists, physicians, and GIRF board members. As you heard Katie say, one of the benefits of the GI Research Foundation is that our board is intricately involved in all elements of what we do. The creation of this process has allowed us to move from ad hoc funding of individual projects to a formal grants process that allows our colleagues the opportunity to apply for and secure the support necessary for pilot research projects of new hypotheses, higher risk initiatives that will launch larger projects and make our teams more competitive for federal funding. In the first cycle of this exciting grant process, GIRF has funded 8 of our colleagues, including Drs. Kupfer and Liu. In the last year, GIRF matched contributions of 2 anonymous donors to launch our Community Health and Digestive Diseases Initiative. Designed to provide digestive disease outreach to the communities in and around the University of Chicago and all of its locations, the program is co-directed by Dr. Ed McDonald and Dr. Sonali Paul, and is working to understand the biological and social contributors to digestive illness in people of different racial and ethnic backgrounds. The exploration of health and the social sciences and the collaboration with our scientists in the Microbiome Institute is singularly unique and holds immense promise. We're very proud of this mission. Finally, GIRF has, as they always have, kept their eyes on the bigger picture, and we have worked with them to develop its largest endeavor ever. We are building a regenerative medicine program. As mentioned briefly last year during this ball, regenerative medicine is the study of how tissues develop and mature into different organs and how tissue injury occurs and changes with age or disease and can be repaired or replaced. The potential applications for such a program are incredibly exciting and may include tissue healing in IBD, as you just heard, organ regeneration in intestinal, liver, or pancreas failure conditions, and ultimately the discoveries will yield new insights and treatments for GI cancer. An institution like the University of Chicago and its multi-talented scientists and experts across different departments and specialties is the only place a program like this can be created and succeed, and with GIRF's help, I know we will. Your support tonight is critical to our missions. We appreciate your generosity and your dedication. Thank you very much. So now I was asked to introduce my colleague, Dr. Russell Cohen. That's the next part, right? Yes? Okay. Who isn't here because he's at a family wedding, and we excuse him. But Russ has been my partner, my good friend, and those who know Dr. Cohen, he's a professor of medicine. He's also the director of our Inflammatory Bowel Disease Center and a member of the board of directors of the GI Research Foundation. And he kindly pre-recorded a message which I have not seen, so you never know with Russ. Run the video.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to tonight's GIRF Ball. I'm Dr. Russell Cohen. My wife and I send our regrets that due to a family wedding in Cleveland, we're unable to attend this year's live ball, which we are very excited to come to. This year's honorees, Dr. Ira Hannon and David Rubin, you will be hearing about shortly, wonderful people, and we wish them all the best, and congratulations to them. I also really want to thank all of our sponsors who came out and all of you who are attending either live or virtually to support this fabulous event. All the money that you raise truly goes to research and many of the needs in the Digestive Disease Center at the University of Chicago. I particularly during these difficult economic times, I really appreciate the outpouring. Now, some of you who are at last year's virtual ball may remember that the mentalist correctly guessed the amount of money that was in my wallet, which my wife promptly emptied. So with that in mind, please be generous later tonight when we have the paddle raise. Please consider that every dollar that you do donate goes to a good cause. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Andrew Aronson, who will be presenting tonight's honoree, Dr. Ira Hannon. Good night.
Good music. All right. Good evening. My name is Andrew Aronson, and I'm a transplant hepatologist at the University of Chicago. I'm also the program director of our GI fellowship. Got our GI fellows right here. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to introduce our 2022 Ball honoree, Dr. Ira Hannon. First, for those of you who do not know Dr. Hannon, a little bit of background. Dr. Hannon is originally from New York City and went to medical school at the State University of New York and in Brooklyn. He came to the University of Chicago in 1980 for his residency in gastroenterology fellowship, where he established his long and successful career, much under the mentorship of Dr. Joe Kersner. Dr. Hannon completed his fellowship in 1985, where he rose the ranks and became professor of medicine in 2013. It's really a challenge to squeeze all of the accolades that Dr. Hannon deserves into a short introduction, but I'll do my best highlighting his achievements as both a physician and an educator. You're looking at me like I'm about to say something. It's gonna be nice, I promise. There is no doubt that within our section, Dr. Hannon is the go-to guy for all clinical issues. He is the person that we refer our friends, our family, and oftentimes ourselves to because of his practical and caring approach to every patient he sees. Dr. Hannon has taken care of thousands of patients and is a true master of melding both the art and science of medicine. Dr. Hannon is not only a brilliant clinician, but he is patient, he is warm, and he is understanding. Caring for patients with GI diseases has been the centerpiece of Dr. Hannon's work, and a recent quote from him really sums up his approach. He said, "The most gratifying thing is seeing people get better. When they come to you, they're sick, you give them a treatment plan, you listen to them, and they get well again. Nobody does this better than Dr. Hannon." Beyond being a gifted clinician, Dr. Hannon is a true educator, both in the traditional sense, but also in a very holistic sense as well. Allow me to explain. First, since joining the faculty, Dr. Hannon has been a key educator to our fellows through all stages of their training. He shows them how to hold the scope for the first time, and he also teaches them about the nuances of treating IBD to our senior fellows. What sets Dr. Hannon apart as an educator is the practical approach that he demonstrates and teaches. His fellows learn how to apply the latest research, but to a real person with a real disease sitting right in front of them. Dr. Hannon has shown countless fellows over the years, not just how to practice medicine, but how to be a doctor. This is something you can't find in textbooks, and we've been so fortunate to have somebody like Dr. Hannon shape the careers of countless fellows who have left our program and now practice gastroenterology throughout the world. But Dr. Hannon is more than a professor of medicine. He serves for all of us as a professor of life. Today, in all fields, we hear a lot about burnout and the importance of maintaining balance in life. Dr. Hannon was promoting the importance of having a meaningful life outside of the hospital for decades, before it was made it into the popular press. Strike up a conversation anytime with him, and he will tell you about the time he spends with his family, his wife Linda, his kids Emily and Brad, and now his 5 grandchildren. Dr. Hannon has always prioritized and realized the importance of family, something that we have all respected and tried to model our own lives over the years. On a personal note, Dr. Hannon has been a mentor and a colleague and a friend over the years. When I am faced with decisions about my career or balancing my career with my home life, I always think about what Ira would do, and I know that this would always steer me in the right direction. Finally, Dr. Hannon is widely known, not as if a jack of all trades, but at least a jack of many, many, many trades. Ira Hannon is a fly fisherman, he is a fiddle player, he is a Seinfeld aficionado, he is a camper, he is a wilderness medicine expert, he is a hiking trail path cleaner, you can ask me about that later, and he is also a doctor who has healed thousands in need, a mentor, an educator, and a friend. We are all so lucky as colleagues, trainees, and patients to work with Dr. Hannon over the years. He has left such a profound impact and positive mark, not only on his patients, but of generations of gastroenterologists who have trained under him. I cannot think of a better person to receive this award. It is my absolute pleasure to present Dr. Ira Hannon as the 2022 Ball honoree.
Thank you. I haven't heard such kind remarks since my bar mitzvah. It's truly a pleasure and honor to receive this recognition from GERF and my colleagues. I first came to the University of Chicago, I remember on June 25th, 1980. I was an intern, and my resident said, let's go down to the doctor's dining room and have lunch. And for the fellows now, the doctor's dining room doesn't exist. It's, you know, the little office where we do our work, because we work right through lunch nowadays. But sitting, the only empty spot was right across from Dr. Kersner. So my very first day of my internship and my first day at the University of Chicago, I met Dr. Kersner. And I remember coming home and telling my wife, I said, you're not going to believe who I had lunch with today. It was Dr. Kersner. And he was warm and gracious and inviting me and welcoming me there. And then over the course of the next year, I decided that I wanted to become a gastroenterologist. And I remember putting in my application for fellowship, and I got a call one day, and it was from his secretary saying, Dr. Kersner would like to see you. And you know, always that struck fear in you as a resident of what did I do wrong now. But he wanted to tell me that, wanted to know what I was interested in gastroenterology, what I wanted to do, and I said I really wanted to take care of patients with gastroenterological problems, and I was interested in new forms of endoscopy and therapeutic endoscopy, and he said, there's only one place for you to be, and that's here. And so that really launched my career, which has now spanned well over 35 years at the U of C. But really, the other thing which he told me was, over the years that I worked with him, is that it's really a team. Surround yourself with good people, smart people, and I think that's what we've all benefited from. All of those at the U of C, we really work as a team, as David has pointed out here tonight, both clinically, research, and support from GERF. And so that team is really important. It's the person who greets people at the front desk every day. It's the people who schedule the appointments. It's the nurses. It's our fellows who help us with those patients. And they're really the ones who get us through our day. I'd like them all to stand up, please. Fellows. Our nurses. As you all know, I won't miss a lot of things at USC, but those are the ones I'll miss. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aronson and Dr. Hannon. Earlier this evening, I said we'd get to a portion of the night where you should not be shy about your generosity. We're almost there, but first, we have a very special award presentation. Unfortunately, Cy Taxman could not be here tonight. Cy, a board member and the unofficial patriarch of GERF, is always one of the ball's most treasured guests, and we are missing him and his wife, Nancy, tonight. Speaking on his behalf is the unofficial junior patriarch of GERF to present the esteemed Joseph B. Kersner Award. Please, a big round of applause for GERF board member Howard Grill.
Junior patriarch? Well, thank you, Casey. You are too kind. Thank you, everyone. The Gastrointestinal Research Foundation was founded in 1961 by Dr. Joseph B. Kersner, along with two of his grateful patients. Dr. Kersner was many things: a pioneer in gastroenterology, a devoted mentor and teacher, and a compassionate and caring physician. If Cy Taxman is the honorary patriarch of GERF, then Beatrice Crane is the honorary matriarch of GERF. Last year, before she passed away at the young age of 100, Bee created the Joseph B. Kersner Award to honor the continuing legacy of our great founder. This award recognizes those individuals who have made a substantial commitment to the impact and further GERF's mission through, in Dr. Rubin's case, his research, teaching, and outstanding patient care. No one is more deserving of the award than this year's recipient, Dr. Rubin. If I were to list all of his curriculum vitae, did I get that right? We would be here all night, but just a few. For the past 8 years, of course, as chief of the section of gastroenterology, hepatology, and nutrition, and co-director of the Digestive Disease Center at the University of Chicago Medicine. He's also the chair of the National Scientific Advisory Committee of the CCFA, recipient of the Joseph B. Kersner Professor in Medicine, and just recently named a professor of pathology at the University of Chicago's McLean Center for Clinical Medical Ethics, a mentor to scores of students, residents, and fellows, author of hundreds of publications, recipient of countless honorariums and awards, most recently the coveted Sherman Award in 2020. Even has close to 20,000 Twitter followers. I'm not sure if Elon Musk is one of them or not, but. Oh yeah, and of course, the best doctor ever. But I'm not here for me to present Dr. Rubin and his award. I'm here to represent the Taxmans, one of GERF's most prominent benefactors and a legacy of their own right. Cy and Nancy were unable to attend this evening, but he graciously asked me to present his remarks on his behalf, and I'm so honored to do so. So tonight when I say, I'm not Cy Taxman, but I play him on TV, is actually true, because he's watching out there. Hi, Cy, Nancy. Okay, let me get into character for a second. Switch gears to being Cy. Oh, it feels funny being Cy. Okay. Dear David, I am so sorry that Nancy and I cannot be with you at this very important event. But as you know, the COVID virus has invaded our household, and I'm having a hard time getting over its effects. Joe Kersner was a wonderful, caring, smart, and concerned physician to all who needed his help, whether a pauper or a king. Dr. Joe believed that while the science of medicine was important, the way a physician cares for the patient was just as important. That legacy is being carried on by you, his hand-picked successor. In numerous ways, you are the mini-me of Dr. Joe. You are the most caring, compassionate person I have ever known, including Dr. Joe. You have taken his teachings to the next level. You have committed yourself to the compassionate care of all patients, and to me, you have become my best friend. You are always there for me and my family and friends, including this latest struggle with COVID. You are clearly the right person to receive this honor, named after Dr. Joe. In less than 1/3 of the time that Dr. Joe had to practice medicine his way, you have already set the standard for thousands of other physicians of what real medicine is all about. While you have not, to my knowledge, had the opportunity or occasion to treat a king, I am sure that if a head of state needed the best and most caring doctor, you would be high on the list of those recommended. David, congratulations to you on being recognized for this special award. No one deserves it more than you do. You want to come up for your... But wait, it's Cy, so there's more. In your honor, our foundation is making an additional gift to GERF of $50,000 to be used solely at your discretion. Further, in addition, as you well know, King Hassan II of Morocco and his family were patrons of Dr. Joe for over 20 years, and on the occasion of his 90th birthday, His Majesty gave Dr. Joe a unique one-of-a-kind gift, a solid gold watch. Do we have that picture? No? Here. Okay. Pictured here. Instead of keeping this unique treasure for himself, at a subsequent GERF ball auction, he donated it so that the proceeds would go to GERF for research. I purchased the watch at that auction and tried to return it to him. He refused this gesture and just asked that the watch be kept by me and either worn or brought to annual GERF events such as this. I have done just that for over 20 years. It is now time for this wonderful remembrance to be put in your compassionate hands for the next 20 years. Your friend always, Cy.
Howard, that was beautiful. Thank you. And Cy and Nancy, we miss you, and I appreciate your comments and your very generous donation. And the watch, I know, was cherished by you, and I will also cherish that. I want to start by just acknowledging and congratulating my friend and partner, Dr. Hannon, on his award tonight. He's also the person who did my colonoscopy. And sorry, he's retiring now, so I may have told you all that too late. But I want to echo what he said in terms of the people who inspire us and the joy we get from working with an incredibly dedicated group of people who help us take care of patients the way they should be taken care of. Multiple people here tonight came up to me to compliment me on my pharmacy colleague, on my nurse practitioner, on my dietitian, on my partner who's in a different area within our field. People know that there's a huge and wonderful team that works with us and makes it possible to do what we do. And I want to acknowledge that as well. And then lastly, I just want to acknowledge all the other people who support us, all of us who do what we do, which is our family. My family's all here. My wife, Becky, my son, Danny's here. My son, Michael, wasn't able to make it. My in-laws, Abby and Larry, and my parents, of course, Paulette and Shelley. And I already introduced my nephew, Jared. But I want the medical professionals here who are my colleagues, my trainees, my good friends, to also recognize all the people who support us through our crazy, stressful lives and call and things that we have to do to take care of patients and devote our life to medicine. And I want to thank my family publicly right now for all of their support. So you've heard a lot about how patients inspire us tonight, and we have been blessed with an incredible patient story and a video, and we're excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet, Trevor, but I know you're going to enjoy it, and we will hear a little bit more about one patient's experience with ulcerative colitis.
It's hard to think kind of like way back before all of this. A lot of people might try to say, you know, I'm a good person, why does this happen to me? I haven't done anything bad. But just because you're a good person doesn't mean that bad things can't happen to you. My name is Trevor, and this is my story. I would say I definitely had a very normal childhood.
He was our firstborn. He was a completely normal kid.
He was the little rambunctious, fun, let's go kind of boy. In junior high, he was a 3-sport athlete. He did soccer, gymnastics, competitive co-ed cheer.
I had gotten good enough to the point where it was looking promising that I could compete at state for gymnastics. And that was around the time when I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis.
One day, he said, I don't feel right. You know, it's my stomach.
When I went to use the bathroom, I realized that I had blood covering my stool.
Me and my brother and my sister were all sitting in the living room on the couch. My mom and dad were racing around the house.
And I'm hearing my brother and my mom out in the hallway. I'm wondering what's going on.
I walked in there and I was like, we gotta go. We gotta go now.
I was first admitted to the Children's Hospital, and of course the doctors didn't immediately know what was wrong.
Within 24 hours, they're like, we'll have to remove his colon. And I was like, he's 16, so no.
Really, we were dumbfounded when we got the diagnosis because there's no family history of the disease.
He was in the hospital for a total of 68 days. When they sent us home, he unfortunately did not do well.
That was when my wife and I totally ramped up the search for other specialists that could help us.
I was like, somebody's got to know somebody who knows somebody that knows Dr. David Rubin, because that's where we're going. And that's how we got to University of Chicago Med, which has been amazing.
Whenever I meet a patient for an opinion about managing their ulcerative colitis, I view it as part of a journey that we're going to go on together. And the journey is to achieve remission. That means that you feel perfect, you can do all the things you want to do in life, and it lasts forever. That's our goal.
He had started a couple dual therapies and went off to college. He did well, really, pretty much until late junior year.
I had been experiencing some pretty severe pain, and I realized if I tried to hold out any longer, I could end up in a much worse situation.
He sent me a text. He said, I think I'm getting worse. They did a direct admit, and within 24 hours, they're like, he's 100% right. We have to remove his colon.
When it got to that point, there was just no more he could take.
He said, I think I just want to die. And I was like, don't give up on me now, man. Don't give up on me now. He's like, this is super hard. I said, it's been hard for 5 years. You're on the home stretch. Let's go get it done.
Technically, Trevor's cured. He was one of the lucky ones that was able to get his colon removed and reversed. Without the doctors and the research that's going on, I know that wouldn't have been possible.
At the University of Chicago, we've been involved in developing some of the treatments that we use to control ulcerative colitis, and we've even invented some of our own. While we acknowledge we've made great progress, we clearly haven't made enough. And that's where the GI Research Foundation comes in.
We need more answers, and we need them now. We decided to hold a St. Patrick's Day 5K in the neighborhood.
You know, it was going to be just my brothers and sisters and the cousins, and very small thing, and it quickly grew into something that was very viable as a fundraiser for University of Chicago research.
With all the pain and suffering that comes with this disease, just know that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. There is always a chance for you to live a better quality of life. And it's all thanks to people like Dr. Rubin and everybody at University of Chicago.
People always say, oh, that's a godsend. I always knew what it meant, but I didn't know who that would be or what the term really felt like until we met Dr. Rubin.
With the GI Research Foundation's support, I envision a future that's not too far off where we can cure conditions like this. That's what we're working for.
This whole cause, these are people's lives. Being able to even be a part of saving someone's life is incredible.
And they've done everything for my brother. I mean, I couldn't thank them enough.
They're miracle workers. They give hope when there's very little hope to be had.
It would mean so much. Just even like a little bit, anything would help.
Even just a small donation can change people's lives so drastically.
It's because of donations like that that I'm going to get to live the rest of my life and the best quality of life that's possible for me.
It's really important to me that he's able to keep on living. If this fundraiser and this money can go towards helping other people like him, which it will, it's like there's no greater honor, really.
So I just want to acknowledge Trevor and his family who are here with us. Would you guys like to stand, please? We want to thank you for sharing your story. And in case you missed the one picture that went by too fast, they invited me to the Team O'Crap fundraiser and raised $4,200. I think more came in after this as well, right? And they then gave it to the GI Research Foundation. We're so grateful for your thoughtfulness and your efforts and the incredible family and friends. So I already shared with you the amazing support GERF has provided, and now we're getting to our paddle raise. So this is where you all come in. I want the people here, of course, to participate, as well as all of you out in the virtual world. We need your help too. So you might wonder how we came up with our request tonight. I discussed with my research colleagues what they needed, and they gave me a very long list. But we identified two transformational pieces of equipment that will, in fact, provide the cutting edge that we need to accelerate our work and achieve the next big discoveries. This is similar to how we raised money for our genetics lab many years ago that identified the first gene for Crohn's disease. GERF raised that money. So the first piece of equipment is called a GeoMX Digital Spatial Profiler. I'm sure you all know what this is. This device, like virtually all our high-tech laboratory equipment, looks like a gray box. But a digital spatial profiler provides images in order to study how tissues interact with one another and how cells interact with tissues within 2 and 3 dimensions. Then it colorizes it so you can actually distinguish this. What it lets us do is to map the spatial architecture of a cell and how it interacts and talks to its surroundings. But spatial biology is like being inside a tissue sample at a molecular level. This is something that did not exist before. So, in order to do this, we need to raise money to help afford this equipment. The second piece of equipment we're going to be raising money for, here's the clue. And this is the second time we're giving Disney free publicity tonight, so maybe they'll sponsor next year. Yes, we're raising money for a mouse colonoscope. Why do mice need colonoscopies? The prep is the worst part. Why do mice need colonoscopies, you may ask? Well, it's because many of our animal models of inflammation of the intestines and cancer in the intestines work with mice. This piece of equipment actually lets us see inside a mouse's colon without having to sacrifice the animal and even take biopsies. And many of our colleagues will benefit from this, including Dr. Liu, Dr. Bissonnette, who's here tonight, Dr. Cheng's lab. And your support for these two pieces of equipment tonight is so appreciated. So when you make your gift tonight, please give generously, knowing that you are a critical part of the future and all the wonderful things you heard about today. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our auctioneer, Brett Baugh, who's going to come up here and take it away. Brett?
Thank you. That was hot. Hey, folks, Dr. Rubin, before you get off stage, hold on. Let's give this man a huge, huge round of applause. Friends, the GI Research Foundation. Hold on. I'm going to need a lot more energy than that. We want to create that giving energy. Are you guys ready to raise a lot of money for the GI Research Foundation? Okay, everyone's got their bidder number, right? Okay, excellent. Here's the way it's going to work. I'm going to give you a level, and if you feel so inclined, we are going to have you raise your paddle at that level. We'll have a level for everyone. So the first one we're going to start off with is a very important one. And you know what? I've got Trevor. Stand up, Trevor. Do me a favor, stand up. Let's give Trevor another big round of applause for sharing his story. And he is going to start this paddle raise off right on behalf of another, okay? Cy and Nancy Taxman couldn't be here tonight, but our first level tonight is going to be $25,000, and they are going to donate $25,000, our first $25,000 of the night. Okay, last year, Cy stated that happiness is not so much in having as in sharing, and the joy of living comes from the immersion of something that we know is bigger, better, worthier, and more enduring than we are. Cy, Nancy, we thank you so very much. Our first $25,000. Let's give him a big round of applause. It works like that, ladies and gentlemen. Team O'Crap. You can laugh at that. It's no Team O'Crap. You know what? You guys stand up for me, okay? Get your paddles all ready. We're going to do another one here. Raise your paddles all up one time. Our next $25,000 is Mark and Rebecca D'Souza. They just gave another $25,000. We just raised $50,000. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. That's our level. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone else at the $25,000 level? We will have a level for everyone. Okay, is there anyone else at the $25,000? We'll close that level. Let's give them one big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I challenge you to immerse yourself in the moment, and again, let's give like a champion. Next level is going to be $10,000. Let's see some paddles. Let's create that giving energy. $10,000. I recognize 3, 8, 8 at $10,000. Let's applaud, folks. This is what it's all about. Okay. Anyone else at the $10,000 level? We're going to make it through all these levels. $10,000. Anyone else? Just wave those paddles. And I'll close that one. Let's give him a big round of applause. Okay. Our next level is but I got to tell you something. Cy and Nancy, they're super generous. So Cy told us before the event that he, on this level, will match the first 5 individuals who donate at the $5,000 level. So your dollars, if you donate $5,000 and you're one of the first 5, it is going to impact doubly. Okay, so the level's $5,000. Let's see some paddles. I recognize 369. You got to do it quick. 105. 338. Applaud, ladies and gentlemen. 198. 332. 167. 207. I'm going to make my way to, you guys can all put those down. 207 was the last one. And anyone else? Anyone on this side of the room? The level's $5,000. We got our 5, didn't we, Casey? Let's give Casey some applause, too. She's doing a great job tonight. We got our 5. Again, there's still work to be done. Is there anyone else at the $5,000 level? Ladies and gentlemen, I will close that $5,000 level. We hit our match. Let's make some noise. What do you say, huh? I told you we'd have a level for everyone. Next level, $2,500, and I'm going to start on this side of the room right now. Let's see some paddles. What do you say? And I recognize 220. He says, yes, I want to give $2,500. 190. Thank you, ma'am. 204. 148. 329. Keep it going, folks. This is what it's all about. Let's create some happiness and joy. 336 says $2,500. Is there anyone else at the $2,500 level? Anyone else at all? Ladies and gentlemen, let's close that level. Let's give them some applause. All right. This is going to be a big one. We got 3 levels left, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to give it home, you can always go to gerf.org, or if you want to use the app, you can text 2022 GERFBall to 76278. That's a hard one to say. Again, it's 2022 GERFBall to 76278. Make sure if you're watching at home, you can certainly give there. Okay, our next level will be in, I'm going to start on this side, $1,000. Let's see some paddles, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming down for this level. And folks, I recognize 388. Thank you so very much. You can give it more than one level too, folks. 2, 3, 5, 3, 1, 5. Keep it going, folks. 3, 9, 7. Thank you, ma'am. 1, 8, 5. 1, 8, 1, 2, 3, 0. And I haven't missed anybody on this side. I'll check again. 1, 7, 1. 2, 9, 2. This is like an auctioneer's dream. 3, 7, 5. 2, 7, 9, 1, 2, 4, 3, 0, 3 at the $1,000 level. In 405, thank you very much, kind sir. In 358, that's at the $1,000 level. At 317, and actually that's 317, 317, and 348. Thank you so very much. That was a good level. That was a good level. I'll just stay down here. I like being with you all. You guys all, it's been a long time since we've done this, huh? It's been a minute. Okay. Anyone else at the $1,000 level before I go? On to the next level. Next level, we'll close that. Let's give him a big round of applause. Now I'm going to start on this side of the room for my next level. The next level is going to be $500. Let's see some paddles. Hold on. Let's see some paddles. I'll start right here. Maybe somebody was traumatized by the number 5. I recognize 110, 188, 228, 363. Applaud, ladies and gentlemen. It feels good. We're doing good. We're changing lives. You guys are champions for a cure right now. 270, 267. 3, 4, 2. Level is $500. $500. Or no, actually, $500. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll close that level off at $500. I got 2 left. I got $250. That's going to be our next level, ladies and gentlemen. $250. Let's see some paddles. Yeah! 1, 3, 1, 104, 140, 353, 347, 284, 216, 266. I recognize 231, 237, 177. Look at Brian. He's a maniac right now. He's got 2 bitter paddles. I love it. 218 and 155 and 309. Applaud, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it going. Are you guys tired? Nobody's tired, right? I'll be right to you. 161. Yes. 406. Folks, thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it. And everyone at the GI Research Foundation and all the good work appreciates it as well. 224. Thank you. 202. Thank you. In 324. Thank you very much. 397. 397. Is there anyone else? That's $250 level. Anyone else? Anyone else? I told you it's been a minute. I kind of feel out of sorts with this. Anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, let's close that. Let's give a big round of applause. If you're watching at home and if you want to donate, if maybe I didn't come up with the amount that you like, maybe you want to give $100,000, maybe you want to give $150,000, make sure you go to www.gerf.org, donate there. Okay, this is our final level. It's going to be $100. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see some paddles. $100. I'm going to start right here, ma'am. In 2, 6, 8. Let's clap. Let's make some noise. Let's do some good. What do you say? 1, 1, 2. 2, 5, 6. 3, 2, 3. 2, 6, 9. In 3, 4, 5. Don't quit on me, folks. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, kind sir. And let's go right here. 2, 9, 4. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. 3, 4, 2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 0, 9, 2, 5, 3. Is there anyone else? Is that the last champion for a cure that we've got? Who was that last one? 253? Show me your paddle again. 253. Are you the last champion right now? Okay, I'm going to see if I can't get anybody to. She's the last champion. Anyone else? Who wants to be the last champion tonight? I'll do this real quick for 2 seconds. Anyone else at $100? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close that $100 level. I have to tell you, Gerf, you guys did a great job tonight. You do change lives. And I'm so thankful and honored to be before you tonight. You guys did great tonight, and I certainly very much appreciate it. So give yourselves a big, big round of applause for all the great work and all the great work that Gerf does. So, and let's keep it going, and let's bring Casey back to the stage. And she's done a great job, and it's an honor to share the stage with you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I get my stuff out of the way.
Thank you, Brett. And thank you all for your overwhelming generosity tonight. To everyone who participated in our paddle raise, it means the world to the GI Research Foundation, to the patients of the U Chicago Medicine Digestive Diseases Center, and to the doctors and scientists who will undoubtedly continue to move the needle with your support. You have all made a difference tonight. To our sponsors, speakers, and award recipients, thank you. We would not be here if it weren't for your passion and determination to improve the lives of others. And finally, to all of you for being here this evening at the 61st Annual GI Research Foundation Champions for a Cure Ball, and to everyone watching from home, a heartfelt thank you. Please give yourselves all one more round of applause. Thank you again. It was wonderful to see all of you in person. And before you head home from this inspiring evening, we invite you to stay for another drink, enjoy the music, and mingle.